Hola, ¿qué tal amigos? Buenos días, buenas tardes y buenas noches. No importa la hora que sea, siempre es un gran momento para estudiar español con Profesor Pablo. And learn Spanish fast with Profesor Pablo. How do we learn Spanish? Rápido, rapidísimo. Today, installment number 4 of the imperfect. In Spanish, there are two past tenses. The preterite, verb number 4, is for actions that are completed. They're over, done, you did it, it happened. Imperfect is for incomplete past actions, and today, specifically, we're talking about, imagine someone says, what were you doing when I called you? What were you doing when the earthquake hit? What were you doing when the electricity got shut off, okay? And you say what was happening or what you were doing. Now you have two choices. You can go with straight imperfect, the aba, ia, for AR verbs, aba, ER, and IR verbs, ia. These are the irregulars. Ser is era, ir is iba, and ber is beia. That's it for the regular imperfect. And the irregular imperfect, only 3 verbs. But you could take what we call the imperfect progressive. Any tense that ends in an ing is called a progressive tense, right? And so when you put the imperfect in front of it, it becomes an imperfect progressive. And so you could say, for example, it was raining, llovía, or estaba lloviendo. It was snowing, nevaba, or estaba nevando. It was hailing, granizaba, or estaba granizando. For example, when I got to school, cuando llegué a la escuela, estaba granizando. When I got to school, preterite, it was hailing. Now, is it more correct to say granizaba or estaba granizando? Either way is correct, personal choice. And your language learning module will start helping you with that. In your reality, in the world that you live, when you're in similar situations and you hear people choose to go with the estaba plus ing over the straight imperfect, then you probably will pick up on that and start doing that as well. But sometimes John may say estaba lloviendo, and the next day he might say llovía. So they work both ways. Chispear is to sprinkle. Chispeaba, it was sprinkling, or estaba chispeando. Tronar is to thunder. It was thundering out. Tronaba, or estaba tronando. I didn't have room to put lightning. That's a funny word, right? Lightning is a noun, but in English, growing up, all I ever heard, and up to this adulthood, people say, it's lightning out. Well, they use the word lightning, which is a noun, as a verb. It's lightning out, right? You don't say the sky is flashing. That doesn't work. But relampaguear is the verb for to flash, for to have lightning, to lightning, if you will. Relampaguear. We'll get that the next time we have the opportunity, but that's how you say it was lightning. Relampagueaba or estaba relampagueando. Hacer would be hacía. It was cold out, hacía frío, or estaba haciendo frío. Most of the time when you talk about it's windy, it's cold, or it's hot, most people would choose hacía over estaba haciendo. Sometimes people might choose estaba haciendo frío, and they're emphasizing the fact more so than just saying hacía frío. Estaba haciendo mucho frío. You're getting a little more into it. It was warm out, hacía calor, or estaba haciendo calor. It was windy, hacía viento, or estaba haciendo viento. I was reading. Take the ER off and put the LE in front. Leía, or estaba leyendo. Remember, leyendo is one of those INGs with a Y. We put a Y, otherwise we would have 3 vowels together. And in Spanish, we do our best to avoid 3 vowels together. Estaba leyendo. I was sleeping. Either dormía, or remember, this goes O to U. Estaba durmiendo, durmiendo. Trabajar. I was working, trabajaba, or estaba trabajando. I was driving, manejaba, estaba manejando. I was driving, conducía, estaba conduciendo. I was eating, comía, estaba comiendo. How about descansar, to rest? I was resting, descansaba, estaba descansando. Ducharse. I was showering, me duchaba, or me estaba duchando. I was living in France at that time. Vivía or estaba viviendo. I was traveling by plane. Viajaba por avión or estaba viajando por avión. You have a choice, whichever you like. Hacer ejercicios. I was doing exercises. I was exercising. Hacía ejercicios or estaba haciendo ejercicios. Correr. I was running. Either corría or estaba corriendo. I was walking. Caminaba. Estaba caminando. I was waking up. Me despertaba or me estaba despertando. I was having breakfast. Desayunaba or estaba desayunando. I was cleaning up. Limpiaba or estaba limpiando. I was washing clothes. Lavaba la ropa or estaba lavando la ropa. Almorzar. I was having lunch. Almorzaba or estaba almorzando. And finally, I was going to bed. Me acostaba or me estaba acostando. Now, if you're a little more advanced, you might know that you do have an option on a reflexive verb. Like I was waking up, me estaba despertando. That is the more common of the two ways. The second way would be to take the me and put it on the end of the ando, and then an accent mark would go on the a because it's 3 vowels back that's stressed. Estaba despertándome. Estaba despertándome. More common to say me estaba despertando. You could say I was going to bed, me estaba acostando, or estaba acostándome. The me is attached to the ando, accent on the a. We have one more reflexive, ducharse. I was taking a shower. Well, we know it's me duchaba or me estaba duchando, or you could put the me on the end and say estaba duchándome. But if you do that, the vowel that stresses the a, and guess what? It's 3 back, so that's why it gets an accent mark. Okay, so now we know the 2 ways of expressing what you were doing or what was happening if you freeze time. We know that the imperfect verb number is 5. We know that an ing verb number is 1. So if you have imperfect with a ing, that's called a 51, a 5-1. Remember, 5 is always imperfect, and 1 is ing. When you say, I'm sleeping, well, you're not going to say I'm sleeping. Well, you say that. Somebody calls you up, hey, I'm sleeping. Estoy durmiendo. Well, that would be, estoy is a 3, present tense. Durmiendo is a 1. That would be a 31. So you're going to find out that anytime you have a 1 in your mind, your language learning module is going to tell you that's an ing form, right? So that's it for our installment number 4 of the imperfect. We got some new vocabulary words for you. And again, you're acquiring a skill, an ability. You're not memorizing. We're practicing. You practice. Okay? Yes, we show you how to tie your shoe. Yes, we help you tie your shoe. That's my job. But your job is to start tying your shoe on your own. And that's why when we go over these and you practice them in your head, you're tying your shoe on your own. And you're developing a skill. Just like tying your shoe, you're never going to forget. If you stay constant with your Spanish, it will be there with you in the language learning module, ready to go to war for you. Ready. Okay? All right, that's it for this lesson. Thank you very much for tuning in, getting a lot of nice comments from people who are finding our lessons very helpful to them in their quest to learn to speak Spanish. So thank you for always being so kind. I really appreciate it. You know that kind words I like to say are wind in my sails. So I thank you all of you out there in the wide internet. Thank you so much. Hasta pronto. This is Profesor Pablo signing off. Cambio fuera.